Surveys. Audience and consumer surveys are commonplace in all areas of life. This becomes immediately evident by searching the internet or audience surveys or consumer surveys. Decision makers in business, consumer and activist groups, politics, and media use survey results as a part of their daily routine. Fortunately, the increased use of surveys has created changes in the way many of the studies are conducted and reported. More attention, although not enough, is given to sample selection, questionnaire design, and error rates. Now, what is descriptive research and analytical surveys? A descriptive survey attempts to describe or document current conditions or attitudes, that is, to explain what exists at the moment. For example, the Department of Labor regularly conducts surveys on the rate of unemployment in the United States. Professional pollsters survey the electorate to learn its opinions of candidates or issues. Broadcast stations and networks continue to survey their audiences to determine programming taste, changing values, and lifestyle variations that might affect programming. Analytical survey. Analytical survey attempts to describe and explain why situations exist. In this approach, two or more variables are usually examined to investigate research questions or test research hypotheses. The results allow researchers to examine the interrelationship among variables and to develop explanatory inferences. For example, television station owners survey the market to determine how lifestyles affect viewing habits, or to determine whether viewers' lifestyles can be used to predict the success of syndicated programming. On a broader scale, television networks conduct yearly surveys to determine how the public tastes and desires are changing and how these attitudes relate to viewers' perceptions of three major commercial networks. Advantages. Let's move to advantages and disadvantages of survey research. They can be used to investigate problems in realistic settings. Newspaper reading, television viewing, radio listening, and consumer behavior patterns can be examined where they can happen rather than in a laboratory or screening room under artificial conditions. The cost of survey is reasonable when one considers the amount of information gathered. Researchers also can control expenses by selecting from five major types of surveys: mail, telephone, personal interview, group administration, and internet. A large amount of data can be collected with relative ease from a variety of people. Surveys allow researchers to examine many variables: demographic and lifestyle information, attitudes, motives, intentions, and so on, and to use a variety of statistics to analyze the data. Surveys are not constrained by geographic boundaries. They can be conducted almost anywhere. Data helpful to survey research already exists. Data archives, government documents, census materials, radio and television rating books, voter registration lists can be used as primary sources, main sources of data, or secondary sources, supportive data of information. With archived data, it is possible to conduct an entire survey study without ever developing a questionnaire or contacting a single respondent. While survey research has many advantages over other research approaches, it is not perfect research methodology. The most important disadvantage is that independent variables cannot be manipulated the way they are in laboratory experiments. Without control over independent variables, researchers cannot be certain whether the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables are causal or non-causal. That is, a survey may establish that A and B are related, but it is possible to determine solely from the survey results that A causes B. Causality is difficult to establish because many intervening and extraneous variables are involved. Time series studies can sometimes help correct this problem. Inappropriate wording or placement of questions within a questionnaire can bias results. The questions must be worded and organized unambiguously to collect the desired information. This problem is discussed. The wrong respondents may be included in survey research. For example, in telephone interviews, a respondent may claim to be between 18 and 25 years old, but in fact be over 30 years old. A mail survey or internet survey may be completed by a teenager when the target respondent is a parent in the household. Some survey research is becoming difficult to conduct because response rates continue to decline. That is especially true with telephone surveys where answering machines, call blocking, caller IDs, various state and local regulations against calling people at home, and respondents unwilling to participate lower the incidence rates, the percentage of people who agree to participate in the survey. Telemarketers, telephone salespeople continually affect research in all areas because an increasing number of people refuse to participate in legitimate studies for fear of attempts by the interviewer to try to sell something. Surveys can produce reliable and useful information. They are especially useful for collecting information on audiences and readership.